Hello, guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Unique Items. Today, we're going to be going over the Vasily's Prayer Ancestral Unique Helmet. It is a very good helmet now. It's so good. Like, the previous versions of this helmet were basically garbage, like, the stat-wise. And the only reason you ever used it was for the special effect. And now the helmet actually has some decent stats on it for the first time in forever. And you might actually want to put it on for the stats and not just for the fact that it has a fancy effect that makes your earth skills turn into werebear skills. Well, thanks for the sub, Manuel Nevadas. So this particular item, let's kind of go over it together and we'll talk about it. I do have it masterworked up to all has mana in bag, so I'm going to pull up the Diablo 4.life page on this particular item so we can look at the base stats, and then we're going to take a look at my like beefed up version. The Vasily's Prayer has been changed now so that it has currently 3.1 to 7.3% bonus willpower, which of course willpower is the main stat for Druids, which enhances all of your damage. On top of this, it also has 873 maximum life, which is a pretty standard amount of max life, but I mean, considering it kind of sucked before, I mean, this is a nice little buff for it. It has 1750 armor on it, which is definitely nice to help you hit that cap. You only need to get 9,230 these days because they've simplified armor tremendously from the previous versions. On top of this, they also added 3 to 4 to defensive posture, which is an absolutely amazing passive on the Druid. And basically what it does is it gives you a bonus to your fortification reduction. So it increases the amount of fortify you can gain from all sources by 15%, and you also gain 9% damage reduction while you are fortified, which means that for 3 ranks you get 9%, and this is giving me, at current, mine is giving me 7, which is what, 18% plus another, what, 3%, so 19, 20, 21, so it's giving me 21% damage reduction while fortified, which is actually kind of insane. Now, the special effect on this has always been kind of meh, because it did one thing, but then it kind of had like a really crappy secondary, which never really worked properly. And it's your earth skills are now also werebear skills. So all earth skills gain the moniker of werebear skills. Now, this is very clear in the menu. When you look at a skill, it says Core, Nature, Magic, Earth, right? When you put on Vasily's Prayer and you look at the same skill again, it says Core, Shapeshifting, Nature, Magic, Earth, Werebear, which means that the landslide ability now becomes a Shapeshifting skill and a Werebear skill just for simply equipping the helmet. Now, Vasily's Prayer used to give like some tiny little amount of fortify. It was like 42 fortify or something when your earth skills hit. Now it gives you 5%, up to 5% of your maximum health as fortify, which pretty much means that whenever you hit with an earth skill, you're going to get a pretty nice amount of fortification. The fortification is going to almost instantly fortify you. And of course, I wasn't even attacking with the earth skill, I was attacking with the wind skill, which also incidentally casts an earth skill. But as you can see, very easy to fortify yourself with this particular item because you're getting 5% of your maximum life as fortify basically every single time you attack. So you're going to basically be permanently fortified with this, and you won't really have to worry about any other fortification methods. It might be nice to have like an additional like secondary fortify of some type coming in, but it's not necessary. So the meat and potatoes of this really revolves around the earth skills are now also werebear skills, which enables a lot of fun builds and things that you can do. First off, when you're casting something like Earth Spike, this could potentially give you access to shapeshifting bonuses. Like, for instance, having access to a shapeshifting skill that is also an Earth skill, that is also a Nature Magic skill, allows you to scale things. Very interesting. So you can scale all of your Earth skill stuff with this, obviously, but you can also gain added benefits, like, for instance, the Wild Heart boots, which are when you shapeshift into a werewolf or a werebear. So adding these in can get me another 60 times multiplier just for simply turning the earth skill into a werebear skill. On top of this, there's also other ways that you could potentially scale werebear skills, like, for instance, the survival instincts, which is while in werebear form, you deal 1% times increased damage up to 60% times for every 1% difference in current life percentage between you and the enemy. So as your enemy's life falls and your life stays in good condition, you are going to get more and more damage against them the weaker they become. And, you know, there's even more things that you can grab, like, for instance, the shape-shifting damage bonuses themselves. You can, of course, grab other multipliers that are going to help you out. Anything that applies during shape-shifting, like, for instance, the boons, you could potentially be using Masochistic, which is critical strikes with shape-shifting skills, have up to a 75% chance to heal you for 5% of your maximum life. It's a very interesting way that you can scale things to crazy degrees.
Mr. Goody Two Shoes, Mr. Goody Two Shoes. Ginger Evil Mentor here. Why bother farming when you can go to MMOEXP.com and simply purchase your items in gold? GGM would have you farm the items. What a pathetic being. Use code GEM Ginger Evil Mentor for 6% off your entire purchase. And don't tell Ginger Gaming Mentor that I was here.
You can also potentially utilize this very interestingly to cause storm skills to become earth skills. This is something that we found out very interestingly as well through the Nature's Fury passive. So if you take a look at the Nature's Fury passive, the Nature's Fury passive says that casting an earth skill has a 35% chance to trigger a free storm skill. And vice versa. So when you cast a storm skill, you have a 35% chance to trigger a free earth skill. In addition, these free skills count as both earth and storm skills from the free cast, which means that whenever I get a free cast of Wind Shear or Storm Strike while casting Earth Spike, these skills are also counting as Earth skills, and coincidentally, because all Earth skills are now Werebear skills, they are also counting as Werebear skills, which is basically how this entire build works, is it revolves around the idea of utilizing 3 different basic skills at one time, which allows me to just absolutely spam 3 basic skills that are pretty much all getting the scaling modifiers from Storm, Earth, and Werebear. The only modifiers I'm not getting access to are the Werewolf modifiers, which I could potentially if I was using Tempest, but that's another pathway that we could potentially take. All in all, I'm very impressed with the changes they made to Vasily's Prayer. They turned this helmet from basically a piece of garbage helmet that had a one effect that people were actually interested in to a very nice helmet that obviously can enhance your build tremendously and also has a very nice effect on it. Now, personally, my opinion is that Vasily's Prayer and Tempest Roar should probably not exist, mainly because they're so required for these builds that it would be better if you could just simply choose something in the panel, perhaps, that would turn all your Earth skills into Werebear skills. Like, maybe it could just be like a passive somewhere around here, where it's like, you know, choosing this passive will turn all your Earth skills into Werebear skills or something. And then you have like another passive on the other side that's like turning all your Storm skills into Werewolf skills, and you can't use both at the same time, obviously. So it would be like a path choice where you could choose one or the other, but not both. I think if they did that and they turn these into something else, it could be more interesting. But as it is right now, if you're trying to turn Earth skills into Werebear skills, you pretty much need this. And it helps because you can get multiple scaling modifiers. Obviously, you know, if you can turn an Earth skill into a Storm skill, and you can turn an Earth skill into a Werebear skill, you can get all the scaling modifiers from basically everything, which is exactly how a lot of these builds work, is getting the scaling modifiers from everything. My specific build right here, as you can see, I'm hitting for like, I can't even remember, what is it, like 4 million per... I actually need a better Shard of Verithiel. I'm using the 185 right now. It's definitely no slouch of a character. My individual hits may not be the largest, but I get so many, like, million hits per strike sequence, anywhere between like 1 to like 10 million, depending on like overpowers and things like that. And I'm missing all my gems, of course, because I've been swapping my gear between like all my characters. Thus is the way of swapping all your equipment between every single character that you have in the game. Obviously, if you found like a really good one of these with greater affixes, so greater affix on the willpower, greater affix on the life, greater affix on the defensive posture and the defense, you would have an absolutely amazing helmet here. The Earth skills, Werebear skills, Fortify doesn't even really matter all that much because it fortifies so much and so well that like a difference between 2 or 5% probably wouldn't even matter because you'd still be fortifying probably completely with relative ease, even with a lower percentage on Vasily's Prayer. So, not really a big deal. Might be fun to like try and find like a 4 greater affix one and slap it on my boy here to see how far I can scale him. Because that willpower specifically would obviously scale his damage tremendously if I had a greater affix and rolled all 3 of the master working on it. That would be pretty insane. I don't know what the hell that would go to, but it would be a lot. It would be a lot of additional willpower to help the build out. Now, if you're looking to get your hands on a Vasily's Prayer, I do have a website here we can go to. So let's take a look at the unique target farming tool on Diablo 4.live. And we're just going to go ahead and pull up Vasily's Prayer. It didn't even take a second. So we just click on a Druid, and then we click on the Vasily's Prayer. And we have Echo of Arshan and Lord Zir, where this comes from. So if you're trying to farm yourself a Vasily's Prayer, you got 2 separate targets that are going to drop this on a regular basis for you, so not that big of a deal. As always, I appreciate you guys and gals joining me for these videos. This is definitely one of those items that's a powerhouse for the Druids. I forgot to read the flavor text, too. So, roots from the great oak growing at the seaward statue of Vasily will, on rare occasions, be found twisted back upon themselves, suffused with ferocious magic, Barrett's Book of Implements. So this is like, it grew this way. Okay. As always, thanks for watching, and keep watching.